Hello and welcome to the Astranti Law YouTube channel. Today we're going to be looking at 5 top tips for effective legal research. So whether you're a student or someone starting out on your very first case or anything in between, if you're looking to just brush up on your skills, these tips will be helpful for you. We're going to be looking at things to help you streamline that research, make the most of your resources and of your time. So without much further ado, let's jump straight in. So our first tip for effective legal research is to make sure that you know your research question really well. You need to know exactly what you want from your research, what you're trying to find out, and it needs to be quite specific. If you go in too broad, you're going to get a lot of different results that won't be very effective for you, and you need to make sure that you've narrowed it down. So for example, if you're looking at contract law, you need to know whether you're looking at breach in detail, whether you're going to be looking at the terms of a contract, all of those different things. You need to know what kind of element you're likely to be looking at. And also you need to know whether your focus is going to be likely to be on legal commentaries or case law, or what kind of thing you need to be looking at. So basically you need to start with that really specific question. Our second tip is to make sure you're using the right resources. Especially in law, there are lots of different resources you could be using in your legal research, and there are lots of different websites that claim to be giving you the best sort of information. So you need to make sure that the sources you're using are appropriate. So first things first, you need to start with your primary sources. So these are things like key legal texts, statutes, case law, or constitutional provisions, and you can find them on more reputable websites. So that might be things like, for example, Westlaw, LexisNexis, or university's libraries database. If you're at university. If you're not at a university, you can still absolutely do your legal research. Just make sure you're checking those sources and cross-checking them with other things wherever appropriate. Then we have our secondary sources. So once you've looked into your primary law, you need to then start thinking about what other people have said about that law. So that might be something like a textbook, a journal, legal commentaries, and these are all things that sort of help you to make sense of those primary sources and to make sense of the dialogue that might be happening around that particular area of law. Look out for things like really well-regarded authors and publishers. Try and look for sort of peer-reviewed journals, just to make sure that you're using the right kinds of resources. For up-to-date information, make sure you're doing things like checking the government website, for example, just to make sure that you're definitely getting the right sort of thing. For example, the UK's legislation.gov.uk is a really great free resource that anyone can access, and it's got reliable information on there, which is very easy to access and to understand. Make sure that you're also trying to use sort of advanced search functions, so that might be things like Boolean operators to filter results. Searching for contract law and consideration, for example, will give you more focused results than just typing contract law, because it has to have both of those things in that result. Also, and this is a really big tip for me, it's something I did a lot at university, I didn't keep a source list. So you need to have a list of the sources that you have been using as you go, and just keep adding to it. If possible, try and use some sort of a reference manager. That can make it a really easy way to then make sure that you're putting all your references in at the end very effectively, or try and do it as you go if you're writing a larger piece and you don't have some sort of a reference manager. Tip number 3, analyse and evaluate. Make sure you're asking the right questions of your research. Once you've gathered your sources, you need to ask yourself the following questions. Number 1, is it relevant? You need to make sure that your source is relevant so that you can make sure that it's actually going to be about the thing that you're researching and it's going to be effective for you. Then you need to know, is it reliable? Is it coming from a source that you can trust? That's really important. And then you also need to think about, is it about the right jurisdiction? I don't want to have, for example, case law that isn't relevant to the UK if that's what my focus is on. There is a bit of leeway here. You might think about maybe, for example, Privy Council cases and how they might impact cases in the UK. Just be careful. Tip number 4, organise your findings. So now that you've done the hard bit, you've actually done the difficult legal research, make sure that you've got some way to bring it all together. So for some people that's going to be like a big sprawling mind map that groups everything by topic. For some people that's going to be, for example, maybe more detailed notes or a structure for an essay. It depends what you're creating with that legal research. Maybe it's going to be part of an argument, in which case you need to make sure that you're linking the relevant bits of the argument together. In any case, you need some way to sort of bring together all of those different things to create an effective bit of research. So, for example, if you're researching negligence, you might divide your notes into sections on duty of care, breach, causation and damages, and you might use things like headings, bullet points, links, etc. to make sure that everything is clear and easy to follow. Tip number 5, stay updated and practice. Legal research is ever changing. We have all sorts of new things coming in now, like thinking about AI and the use of that. And it's not a one-time skill, it's something you need to practice so that you don't lose it over time. And it's going to be something you refine over your career, so don't worry if you're not an amazing legal researcher now, you will get better over time. Remember as well, the law is fluid, things change, precedents shift, so staying updated is really, really key. Don't just trust that because you knew something last year, it's the same now. Always, always double check. Try and make sure that you subscribe to things like legal newsletters, follow blogs from trusted legal experts, and try and keep an eye on some updates on the platforms that you use. Remember, the more you practice, the more confident you're going to get as you do your legal research. Thank you for watching. If you found these tips helpful, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our Strategy Law channel, and to hit that notification bell to make sure you get notified every time that we post. Let us know in the comments which legal tools or strategies you found the most useful. We'd really love to hear from you. At Strategy, we aim to help people to learn and develop in their careers, and we try and do this in a way that is cost effective and easy to access. So have a look at our website if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in. We have lots of courses available to cater to all different types of legal needs. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.